What's going on YouTube? GSNoid here. So in today's video we're going to talk more about some vulnerabilities and exploits that have been released for iOS 12.1, 12.0.1 and so on. We're going to also talk about the XNU kernel sources that are very important and have been released, and also some more information. So I'm going to start with this in here, posted by Chris Wade. He said, quote, "So I'm not sure if someone found this one or Apple just got lucky, but they closed a kernel memory leak bug that I found last year. I have a feeling that they missed even a better bug in the same code path. POC has been posted in here, and this is pretty much the code." Now, naturally, I got a lot of questions about this, whether this can be used in a jailbreak or whether this can be used to, escalate privileges and so on. Now, the problem with this is mentioned here in the POC. It says, quote, "Apple failed to zero input structure, and if the disk is being unmounted, it returns successful." And it says in here, "Quick POC for kernel memory leak on HFS disk removal." So this pretty much requires you to have an HFS partition on an SD card connected through some sort of dongle or something to the iOS. So it's not a practical bug, and it doesn't give you task for PAD0. The reason I'm including it in the video is because naturally people ask me what it is and what it can do, because they see kernel memory in there and of course iOS, and therefore the question arises. But yes, this cannot be used in a jailbreak, at least not in an easy way, without having to do some mumbo jumbo with an SD card, with a partition and so on. But yes, it's definitely a powerful bug in itself, and it is indeed a shame that Apple still has this kind of bugs as of today. The next one I would like to discuss is coming from Google Project Zero, and this one in here says, quote, "XNU," which is pretty much the kernel, "POSIX shared memory mappings have incorrect maximum protection," and the link in here. Now, this one affects the XNU kernel, so pretty much the iOS kernel as well. And you can see here people do ask me, is it useful for us at FC365? So naturally, I would have to include this one as well, even though no, this is not very useful either. And the reason for that is that this one doesn't give you the kernel task port or TFP0 either. What it can actually do, however, is to be used in a combination with a sandbox escape, and you would be able in some specific conditions to modify a root-owned file, as Jake James is stating in here, and he is correct. But anyways, it's a little bit hard to do that. It's not practical for a jailbreak, and you do have to meet certain conditions, and you would need a sandbox escape anyways. And although this is an important XNU bug, it cannot be used in a jailbreak. And as I said, the reason I included it was because people are asking me what it is and what it can do, because again, they saw the XNU kernel, which is the iOS kernel as well. Now, these two vulnerabilities that have been released are not very useful for the jailbreak community, and for iOS 12.1, 12.0.1, 12.0 and 11.4.1, we're still waiting to see what AMBeer is going to drop. Because if you remember, on iOS 12.1.1, we pretty much got a report from Apple that a vulnerability by AMBeer in the kernel has been patched. And it's very likely that the vulnerability is able to give you the task for PAD0 or the kernel task port. And I will keep you updated if AMBeer posts more information. However, I'm going to switch next to the last topic I would like to discuss, and that is the fact that finally the iOS 12 and macOS 10.14 XNU sources have been released. Now, we've been waiting for this source code for quite some time, and there are multiple reasons for that. At first, if you have the source code in here, you pretty much have partially some access to what the code does and how things work, so you can see what changed and what Apple patched and how. So of course you can find more vulnerabilities in their patches or in their implementation. But the second reason we've been waiting for this source code to be published has something to do with Jonathan Levin. If you remember, he is a very great developer in our community. He published the LibreIOS jailbreak, the Chilling toolkit that I use in my jailbreak, the Osiris, and many other things. And he's the author of two very important books in our community that help the jailbreak community directly, and of course are very well read. We're talking about the StarOS internals, which pretty much means iOS, macOS, watchOS internals, and the Volume 3 Security and Insecurity and the Volume 1 User Mode have been already published and are already available. However, the Volume 2 called Kernel and Hardware has not been published yet. Now, of course, you're going to ask ask me, why is this important for me as a person who just wants to use a jailbreak? Well, these books in here are the only books that treat the iOS system very, very deep, and anything you want to know about the iOS, macOS, and the kernel, the hardware, and everything can be found in these books. Now, a very big chunk of my iOS knowledge is pretty much thanks to these books in here, and I can tell you that this applies for other jailbreakers in our community as well. So the more we know, the more information we get, the more we can work with. The more we uncover about this iOS system and how it works, the easier for us to build jailbreaks. So this information in here is actually very, very precious for the jailbreak community, especially the volume 3 in here, which treats the jailbreaks themselves, and also the kernel and hardware volume 2 in here, which will be released. So I'm very, very happy to see that the source codes have been posted so that Jonathan can finally release the book. Anyways, this is pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to stay updated. I really hope this video clarifies the situation about the vulnerabilities that have been released. So I really hope you will not update to 12.1.1 for the moment. Thank you for watching. I'm GeoSnow, and until the next time, peace out.